Okay, so let's be real for a second. In today's world, it's like everyone's looking for that edge, right? That secret formula to like boost their productivity and just crush it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's like a million different productivity hacks and systems out there,
Right.
but
So many. And today we're diving deep into one that's been making waves for a while now. Um, The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma.
oh, interesting choice. I've heard a lot about that one.
Have you read it?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So this book, it's all about like tapping into the routines and philosophies of those high achievers,
Yeah.
the people who just seem to effortlessly dominate their days.
Right, right.
And we're going to unpack it all. Like, what are the core principles? Can this whole 5 a.m. thing actually like transform our lives?
Yeah.
Is it all hype or is there something really there?
Well, and I think one thing that sets this book apart from like, your typical self-help book is that it's actually told as a story.
Right.
Like we follow this entrepreneur and an artist on this journey with their mentor, who is an eccentric billionaire.
Yeah, I love that about it. It's not just like a dry list of do this and do that.
Exactly.
It's like you're actually along for the ride with these characters. And
Mm.
honestly, I think it makes the whole thing way more relatable.
Oh, absolutely. And you find yourself like rooting for them as they like discover the power of the 5 a.m. ritual.
Yeah, and I especially connected with the entrepreneur's skepticism at the beginning because, like many of us, she's struggling. Her business is on the line, and she's not exactly sold on this whole self-help thing.
Oh, I totally get that.
It's like she's kind of like our stand-in. She's voicing all the doubts that we might have.
Yeah, and it makes her transformation all the more powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this 5 a.m. ritual
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just about like dragging yourself out of bed at the crack of dawn, right?
Right. It's not just about waking up early. It's about like intentionally dedicating that hour before dawn to like personal growth and setting the stage for an exceptional day.
I love how he calls it the victory hour.
Yes.
It definitely sounds more appealing than just like, stumbling around in the dark.
Yeah, way more inspiring.
So how does one actually fill this victory hour? Like, what's the breakdown?
Well, Sharma, he lays out this 20-20-20 formula for structuring it. So the first 20 minutes are dedicated to intense exercise.
Yeah, intense exercise right off the bat.
Yes. And not just like a casual stroll. We're talking something that really gets your heart bumping.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but also slightly intimidated. Why the hardcore workout so early?
Well, it's all about like tapping into your biology. Intense exercise, it triggers a surge of those neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which elevate your mood and sharpen your focus.
So it's like a natural brain booster getting you ready to like conquer the day.
Exactly, like a natural espresso shot, but without the jitters.
I like it. Okay, so the move segment makes sense. What about the next 20 minutes?
That's the reflect segment. So this is where you shift gears from physical exertion to like inner exploration. Practices like meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in silence and contemplating are encouraged here.
So it's about creating a space for quiet reflection, gratitude,
Mhm.
like connecting with a deeper sense of purpose.
Exactly. And this actually ties into the billionaire's overarching philosophy of owning the magic within.
I remember that.
Yeah, he believes that nurturing your inner world is the foundation for external success and fulfillment.
I'm starting to see how this 5 a.m. ritual is like about way more than just like productivity hacks. It's like cultivating a whole sense of well-being.
It really is.
But okay, I got to know, what about the final 20 minutes of this victory hour? What's that all about?
That's dedicated to growth.
Sorry. Yeah.
So this is where you engage with content that expands your knowledge, skills, or leadership capacity. Think of it as like investing in your personal and professional development.
So we've got intense exercise, quiet reflection, and then a dose of intellectual stimulation. That's a pretty packed hour. But honestly, I'm already seeing how this structured routine could set you up for a more productive and fulfilling day.
I agree, and I think the power lies in the structure and intentionality. It's not just about waking up early, but about how you use that time to prime your mind and body for success. However, Sharma acknowledges that establishing a routine like this isn't a cakewalk. He really delves into the psychology of habit formation, highlighting the challenges and providing strategies to overcome them.
Right, because it's one thing to like read about this amazing routine, but it's another thing to actually implement it and make it stick.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to the 66-day minimum right here. Tell me more about this concept.
Sure. So Sharma outlines a 4-part pattern for installing any new habit, and that includes this early rising ritual. It starts with a clear trigger like that 5 a.m. alarm clock. Then comes the installation phase, which is roughly the first 22 days,
Okay.
where willpower is your best friend as you fight against those old habits.
All right, so the first 3 weeks are crucial.
Yeah, they are.
But I imagine it doesn't get much easier after that, does it?
Well, you're right. The next 22 days, the integration phase can be even tougher because that's when doubts and resistance can creep in and you're tempted to abandon the new routine. But if you push through, you reach the automaticity phase where the habit becomes effortless.
So that's the goal, right? To make this 5 a.m. wake-up call feel natural and effortless rather than a constant battle.
Yeah, exactly. And that actually brings us to a surprising element in Sharma's philosophy. While he advocates for pushing yourself, he also emphasizes the importance of recovery for sustained high performance.
Oh, that is surprising. I would have expected a book that's focused on achieving more to just be like, go, go, go all the time.
Yeah.
Grind, grind, grind.
You'd think so.
So what does this focus on recovery actually look like?
He introduces the twin cycles of elite performance. It's this idea that you need to alternate periods of intense work with strategic recovery to prevent burnout and maximize creativity.
Okay, I like that.
And he doesn't shy away from advocating for some pretty radical recovery practices.
Radical, like what? I gotta hear this.
Okay, get this. He suggests things like 0 device days, 2 full days per week, completely unplugged from technology,
2 whole days.
2 whole days,
Wow.
and quarterly vacations for extended time to recharge and reconnect with yourself. He even recommends 2 90-minute massages per week.
Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. 2 days a week, completely offline, and bi-weekly 90-minute massages. I
Exactly.
mean, while I admire the dedication to self-care, that level of commitment sounds almost impossible for most people to achieve.
Yeah, you're right. That level of commitment might not be realistic for everyone, but I think the core principle is super valuable.
Right.
To achieve and sustain peak performance, rest and recovery need to be prioritized just as much as hard work.
Yeah, it's a refreshing perspective, especially in a culture that often glorifies the hustle and grind, Like you're not a real entrepreneur unless you're working 24/7. It's exhausting. I'm already starting to see how the 5 a.m. club is about more than just squeezing more into your day.
Oh, for sure.
It's about living a more balanced and fulfilling life.
Exactly. And that actually ties in beautifully with another key element of the billionaire's philosophy: collecting experiences over material possessions. He encourages shifting the focus from accumulating things to prioritizing experiences, joy, and meaningful connections.
Yeah, so it's about rediscovering that childlike sense of wonder,
Yeah.
like finding fulfillment in simple joys rather than material wealth. I could definitely get behind that.
Me too.
Is there anything else we should know about this billionaire's philosophy before we move on?
Yes, there's one more important piece. The book introduces a model called the heroic human circle,
Okay.
and it outlines virtues for positive impact and societal contribution. Qualities like courage, compassion, integrity, and service are emphasized as essential for becoming a leader and a force for good in the world.
So it's not just about personal transformation, but about using that transformation to make a positive impact on the world around you.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that true success encompasses personal growth, meaningful experiences, and contributing to something larger than yourself.
Okay, I think we've laid a solid foundation here, explored the philosophy behind the 5 a.m. club, and now I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty of actually implementing this 5 a.m. routine. Let's do it.
All right, you ready to get into like the actual how-to of the 5 a.m. method?
Let's do it. I'm ready to conquer those mornings.
Okay, well, I think you'll find this part particularly helpful.
I hope so, because honestly, the idea of waking up at 5 a.m. every day still seems kind of daunting.
Oh, yeah, I get it. It's definitely a challenge. But Sharma, he doesn't just like throw you in the deep end. He actually provides 10 tactics to defeat laziness and rise before the sun.
Okay, 10 tactics. That sounds pretty comprehensive. Like a military strategy session for winning the battle against the snooze button.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's hear these tactical maneuvers.
All right, well, instead of going through all 10 individually, let's focus on like the overarching strategies. One big one is intention setting.
Right.
Sharma really emphasizes the power of defining your why for waking up early.
Yeah, like, why are you doing this?
Exactly. And it needs to be a compelling personal reason that goes beyond just wanting to be more productive.
You're right, because if your motivation is weak, you're going to hit that snooze button so fast.
Exactly. Another key strategy is optimizing your sleep environment. He calls it the evening routine of world-class performers.
Ooh, evening routine of world-class performers.
No.
I like the sound of that. It's like setting the stage for success even before you go to sleep.
Absolutely.
So what's involved in this evening routine?
It's about creating like the ideal conditions for restful sleep so that waking up early doesn't feel like torture.
Right, because if you're sleep deprived, waking up at 5 a.m. is going to be brutal.
Oh, totally.
So what are some of the key elements of this routine?
Well, a big one is shutting down your devices at least an hour before bed.
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
I know, but no more scrolling through social media until you pass out.
I am so guilty of that. But I can see how, like, the constant blue light from my phone is probably not helping my sleep quality.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. He also recommends a no caffeine after 2 p.m. rule.
Okay, so I got to break up with my afternoon coffee.
It might be tough at first, but it's worth it if it means waking up refreshed.
All right, I'm willing to try it. Anything else in this evening routine?
Yeah, he recommends a 20-minute review where you reflect on your day, focusing on the positives and any lessons learned.
So ending the day on a good note.
Yeah, and priming your mind for restful sleep. He also suggests reading something inspiring before bed.
That sounds so much more relaxing than like doom scrolling on Twitter before bed.
Right.
Okay, so optimizing sleep is crucial. What other strategies does Sharma offer for, like, conquering that early morning wake-up call?
Creating momentum. He has several tactics that build on each other and create a sense of accomplishment that helps you overcome that initial resistance to getting out of bed.
So it's like a chain reaction of positive actions.
Exactly.
Like what? Give me some examples.
One classic one is placing your alarm clock across the room.
Oh, yeah.
Forcing yourself to physically get out of bed to turn it off.
Yeah, that one's a classic for a reason.
He also recommends drinking a full glass of water right away.
Hydration.
Yeah. To rehydrate your body and kickstart your metabolism.
Okay. Those are good ones. I've definitely tried the alarm clock trick before with mixed results. Any other momentum building tips?
He suggests getting dressed for action right away, like putting on your workout gear.
Okay.
It signals to your brain that it's time to move and gets you mentally prepared for the move segment of the victory hour.
Right, because if you're still in your PJs, you're more likely to crawl back into bed.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how all these like seemingly small actions can have a big impact on your mindset. But I have to admit, some of these tactics, like the 2 days offline, they seem a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Do you think that level of commitment is really necessary to reap the benefits of the 5 a.m. club?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think the answer is no, not necessarily.
Okay, good.
While Sharma presents these practices as part of the ideal routine, he also acknowledges that everyone's journey is unique.
So it's more about finding what works for you and adapting the principles to fit your lifestyle.
Exactly. The key takeaway is to be intentional about how you design your morning and evening routines to support your goals and well-being.
Okay, that's a relief. I was starting to feel overwhelmed by the intensity of the billionaire's routine. But okay, I'm curious what your thoughts on the move segment. Intense exercise first thing in the morning seems a bit daunting.
I totally understand your hesitation, but there's a strong scientific basis for Sharma's emphasis on exercise.
Okay.
He's not just promoting physical fitness, he's talking about leveraging the power of your biology.
Right, we talked about that dopamine and serotonin boost earlier. But I have to admit, I'm still not sure I'm ready to do burpees at 5:05 a.m. Is there any wiggle room in this move segment?
Of course, remember, this is about finding what works for you.
Okay.
While intense exercise yields the biggest neurochemical benefits, any movement is better than none.
Okay, that's good to hear. So maybe I can start with like a brisk walk or some yoga and work my way up to the more intense stuff.
Exactly. The key is to listen to your body and find a level of activity that feels both challenging and sustainable.
Okay, so we've covered the strategies for waking up and we've touched on the move segment. What about the reflect and grow segments? What are your thoughts on those?
Those are equally important. In fact, I think the reflect segment might be the most powerful aspect of the entire 5 a.m. routine.
Really? More powerful than the intense workout and like all that intellectual stimulation from reading. I'm intrigued what makes the reflect segment so impactful.
It's all about cultivating self-awareness and really connecting with your inner world. In today's world, it's so fast-paced and we're constantly connected. We rarely get the chance to just be still and listen to our own thoughts and feelings.
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in the external noise and lose touch with like what truly matters.
Exactly. And the reflect segment, it provides that space for introspection, for gratitude, for setting intentions, for clarifying your goals and values. It's about aligning your actions with your deeper purpose.
So it's like taking a mental inventory before you start your day, making sure you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, like creating that inner compass that can guide you through all the inevitable challenges and distractions that life throws your way. And it ties in perfectly with the billionaire's philosophy of owning the magic within.
Right. We talked about how he emphasizes nurturing your inner world as the foundation for external success and fulfillment. But what about the grow segment? What are your thoughts on how to best use those 20 minutes?
Well, Sharma recommends dedicating this time to expanding your knowledge, skills, or leadership capacity. It's about continuous learning and personal growth. Reading books, listening to podcasts, taking online courses, anything that fuels your intellectual curiosity and helps you develop as an individual.
So it's like a mini masterclass every morning. But I have to admit, the idea of adding another 20 minutes of focused activity to my morning routine feels a bit overwhelming.
I hear you, and remember, it's not about rigidly adhering to the 20-20-20 formula. It's a framework, a guideline. If 10 minutes of reading feels more manageable right now, start there. The key is to find a rhythm that works for you and gradually expand your capacity as you build the habit.
That makes sense. It's about progress, not perfection. But I am curious, what are some specific examples of things people can do during the grow segment?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. You could read a biography of someone you admire, listen to a podcast on a topic you're passionate about, or even watch a TED Talk that expands your perspective. It's about exposing yourself to new ideas and perspectives that can help you grow both personally and professionally.
Okay, I'm starting to see how the grow segment can be a powerful tool for self-improvement. And I love the idea of tailoring it to my own interests and goals. But let's be honest, even with the best intentions, it's easy to fall off track with a new routine. What advice does Sharma offer for staying motivated and making this a sustainable lifestyle change?
Well, he really emphasizes the 66-day minimum that we discussed earlier. Remember, establishing a new habit, it takes time and effort. He outlines those 4 stages, trigger, installation, integration, and automaticity. It's about being patient with yourself, celebrating the small wins, and persevering through those inevitable moments of resistance.
Right. And he also stresses the importance of remembering your why. Why are you doing this in the first place?
Exactly. Your why is your anchor. It's what will pull you through when the snooze button is calling your name or when life throws you a curveball. So before you embark on this journey, take some time to really define what you hope to gain from joining the 5 a.m. club.
Okay. I'm starting to get a sense that, like, the depth and complexity of this whole 5 a.m. philosophy. It's not just about waking up early. It's about a whole approach to life. Prioritizing self-care, cultivating self-awareness, pursuing continuous growth. I have to admit, I'm feeling inspired, but also a bit daunted by the commitment involved. What advice would you give to someone who's ready to, like, embark on this 5 a.m. journey?
Start small.
Yeah.
Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Maybe just set your alarm 15 minutes earlier tomorrow and ease into it. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. Each day is a new opportunity to show up for yourself and recommit to your goals.
I love that progress over perfection. And remember, as we've discussed, you don't have to adopt every single aspect of the billionaire's routine. Adapt the principles to fit your own life and preferences.
Exactly. The goal is to create a morning routine that energizes you, sets you up for success, and helps you live a more fulfilling life.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the philosophy behind the 5 a.m. club, delved into the practicalities of the 20-20-20 formula, and even learned some tactical maneuvers to defeat laziness and rise before the sun.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to create their own version of the 5 a.m. magic.
I have a feeling this is just the beginning of our exploration of the 5 a.m. club. So to our listeners, we encourage you to pick up the book, dive deeper into these principles, and see how this powerful methodology can transform your own lives.
And before you go, we'd love for you to ponder this question. If you could design your ideal morning ritual, what would it include? What small step can you take today to start building a life that truly reflects your values and aspirations?
That's something to think about. Until next time, keep reaching for your highest potential, and remember, the magic starts at 5 a.m.